So the aliens can leave from my presence. I'm over it. Completely over it. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for the season finale of Death Valley, American Horror Stories double feature. This is season 10, episode 10. It is called The Future Perfect. Listen, I don't do sci-fi. I told you all in the beginning. I don't do sci-fi, and nothing has changed. I don't do sci-fi. Anyway, we start right here in 1972. That is my year. I said, okay, well, maybe this is going to be all right, honey. We start off with my favorite numbers, honey. 1972. Boom, that's me. That's me. January 9th, 1972. Boom. Maybe this is going to start off and be okay. Old Dick Nixon is now the president, okay? So he done got his seat finally after all his wrongdoings. Dick done got his seat up there in the presidency. They tell him, Thor tells him, listen, first hybrid is going to be born 2021. The Vietnam War is actually going on, and basically everything is falling on Nixon to explain these things. And Thor is basically left. These are nothing but, they did all this. Watergate, the Vietnam War, all of this. I said, you know, I'm sure the conspiracy theorists have had a ball with this version, this here season of American Horror Story, and especially the Death Valley portion. This part was just so full of conspiracies and all of this stuff. I was like, oh, this is a mess. But anyway, they're the ones that are doing all of this. And they said, and we have plenty of distractions planned to lead us up to 2021. We all know what the distractions are, child. We know. We've lived through all of them. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Now, Henry is Dick's right-hand man, okay? So all his trust is in old Henry. And we're sitting there, and he's like pissed. Like, he is so pissed with Valiant Thor at this point. He's like, you know what? I'm so sick of him. He's like, I'm so sick of that little alien or whatever he is. I'm just sick of him. And Henry was like, oh, he's doing like this. He's holding his eye. And I'm like, did Thor do something to him? Because, you know, they can, and you blow your head up. I thought he did, because he said something really smart about the distractions. And it was thrown, like when he said it, he threw it as shade, like straight as shade to Dick. And I'm like, did he just do something to Henry? No, child, I'm looking at Henry. Henry's skin looked like a little scaly. I said, girl, you need some Neutrogena, bitch? What's going on? Scaly. And then his eyes went, honey, and they was kind of reddish, then kind of yellowish. I said, girl, what's going on, honey? And then that little tongue came out. I said, Henry is a damn lizard, honey. Something lizardish, something very, you know I can't stand reptiles. Y'all know that, right? I don't like anything reptilian. Period. So, And it's crazy. Do you all remember V? The whole series V? I love that series. But I that whole forked tongue, I don't like nothing reptilian. Nothing that moves like this. I ain't got it. No, I don't like it. Anyway, moving on. So Henry is something reptilian. So what the heck is that? So then we jump back 3 years prior to 1969. And here it was. Ike had clocked all of that, honey. He said that there was another race of alien that actually had come down and were actually on the planet. They look more like us, but they got some other thing going on, but they're not the same as the other aliens. And there's kind of like a little competition possibly between the two. And how they found out is that as they, you know, they were steadily, they're still collecting humans. They grabbed up one of them by mistake, and that's how they found out that they were actually there. So Thor and Mamie are still doing their thing, and um, Ike had told him, you know, he said, you know what, the two of you all deserve each other. They're literally, and he's like on his deathbed at this point, and he literally just he's over it. He ain't even fighting for the marriage anymore. He's really down and feeling bad about everything in the state of the world. He's really embarrassed, and he feels like he really was at the helm of why we're in the position that we're in, that maybe he could have done something to stop it, and he just really is in a sea of regrets. And Valiant Thor told him, you know what, you don't have to die, Mr. President. You've done so much for me and my people that you don't have to die. We could actually take you and we could move you to Area 51 and you could live. You know, you'll be dead to the people, but you could live. So he's like, I wouldn't dream of it. I'm out of here. And he ends up passing away. Mamie was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. She let him know, I ain't doing that. You got to hook me up with something else. And that's that. So she ends up, after that, we see her with this whole Watergate situation going on. And then Mamie is meeting, she's just always busy doing something. She's meeting with some reporters and told the reporter, you don't know me, you've never seen me, and if any reference to me, you just call me Deep Throat. I said, Deep Throat? No, ma'am. I said, and that's what he said. She said, oh, it's just a reference to that filthy movie. You all remember the movie Deep Throat, honey. It's a classic. But yeah, she's like, they would never think of me, honey. Not the birthday party lady, honey, as Deep Throat. Meanwhile, honey, you know, she been screwing an alien. She's all nasty, and she's one of the nasty girls, honey. Anyway, moving on. So, old Dick is basically saying that he will not resign because he was actually going against, you know, what was going on with the aliens and that, and they're like, this ain't gonna work. So he was saying he's not going to resign at all. He's telling old Henry, you know, you're the only one I could trust. I ain't resigning for shit. I'm gonna fight them. Yeah, I'm going down in a blaze of glory. I'm gonna give them some pushback, all right. Shortly after that, honey, Henry goes out. His tongue, he still had problems with his tongue. He goes on out, and the next thing you know, here's another alien abduction, baby. They took Dick up there somewhere. I guess out to Area 51. They took him, honey. They did something to his back. They had him laying down on the table, honey, or his stomach. I said, oh, girl, wait a minute, honey. I said, girl, they great do you, honey. He's like, no, anything but that. I said, what? What is it, girl? What is it? I wanted to know. They ain't let us know what it was, but he was on his stomach, honey, and he was scared to death. Listen, when you put straight men on their stomach, honey. Okay. Anyway, listen, they did something to his back. And he came back with a whole lot of acrite, honey. I said, oh, girl, they got you, honey. Poor thing. He came back, honey. He's on the news. He says, yes, I'm handing in my resignation. I said, I guess you didn't have a good time, girl. Bad date? Baby, they got old Dick together. Child, he came back and resigned, honey. And that was that. I said, whew, child, did they bring Thor in there and he gave you some of what he been giving Mamie, honey? Whatever it was, it gave you a whole lot of acrite when you came back, honey. So that was that. In 1979, Mamie was announced dead in her sleep. She wasn't. She basically, Thor took her, moved her on out there to Area 51, and they fixed her up where she could live forever, girl. That was it. Told her, you know, you're going to live forever. She's the only one in the whole complex. She's dressed in another color. She's in there thinking she the shit out of everybody else is in white. She's all in color, blowing around looking like Mommy Dearest. Honey, I said, look at her. She's a mess. Didn't take long. And then she was bored. So, anyway, moving on. So that's it. That's it for our black and white portion. We move from there. So that literally is the end of all of that. Like, that's the end of it. And then we go on. And now this is where the two collide, honey. We're in color now. We're in present day. Both of the boys are dead. That baby, they killed both of the boys. And then the alarm had gone off. They're like, there's a breach. Something's going on. Is somebody trying to escape? There's something going on? And they said there was a unplanned death is what actually happened. So it's a whole bloodbath up there. Then we got these soldiers, and the soldiers come in. The baby jumps down from the ceiling and literally jumps onto one of the soldiers' face, and they just shot the soldier up and the damn thing. Tore him up. I said, well, damn, y'all, really? They tore the soldier up, baby. He took one for the team, honey. He's like, look, you got to go, honey. So they shot it up, shot the baby up. That was that. So then old girl came in. You know, y'all know old girl in the white, in the beautiful white gown with the head and the big eye. Miss Candy. I'm just going to call her Miss Candy. Her. She came in. Well, her name actually, let me give her her real name. Her real name is Theta. Y'all know who it is. It's Theta, honey. Miss Theta came in there, and the soldiers, they were going on, and the soldiers talking smart to her. She's like, who told you to kill the baby? Your job was to get the baby. Your job wasn't to kill the baby. And he was like, well, it had jumped on and was eating so-and-so's face. She said, I don't care about him. I care about the baby. I said, oh. He said, it's always darkest before the dawn. She said, what does that mean? He said, it's just something that we say. She said, oh, okay. So there's like 4 more soldiers coming. He said, what does Team B here for? She said, they've just been promoted. Honey, and they shot up all the other ones. I said, oh, Miss Theta, honey, I messed. Shot them up, killed them. Then they went on. By this time, you got the 2 girls is running around looking for the 2 boys. They end up going, and this is again, here we go with the bullshit, because they're just walking around. Ain't nobody questioning them. They just walking around. Anyway, they went up to the little moon place, found the boys, found all the soldiers. Nothing was cleaned up. Everything was a mess. And they end up getting all excited, and they go into labor. Theta got them. Girl, it's like, oh, God. Jamie, she said, one of you is going to have the perfect first hybrid. It's one of you. Calm yourself. Sleep. And they over there, then Jamie goes and has her baby, honey. And they're looking, and they're like, I said, go figure, honey. It wasn't going to be the little mixed baby, honey. Took it and, honey, and threw it in the water. She's like, oh, my baby. She was like, she's of no more use. Kill her, honey. So they sliced her throat. I said, oh, why'd they kill her? Sliced her throat. Because them 2 kept up too much trouble. See, I think they feel like them last 4, they just keep up too much trouble. And then again, they keep talking about, you know, breaking out. Kendall kept talking about breaking out. I think her name was Kendall. Kept talking about breaking out and stuff. You know they hear everything, child. So they sliced Jamie's throat, and that was that. So she told Kendall, you need to calm down, because we believe you're going to have the first perfect hybrid. So you just need to calm down and just chill. So she goes ahead and she, oh, and that's what that Theta going to say. Told her, don't worry about what happened to your friend. It's always darkest before the dawn. I said, no, she ain't steal that tagline and use it on her. I was like, Theta's shady. Anyway, so Kendall goes in. She has her baby. And she has her baby. And the baby, they said, it's perfect. It looks totally human. And it just got the alien eyes. Those black eyes. Had 2 of them. 2 perfect black big eyes. So that is ugly, honey. But they take it and go on with the baby and all that. And then Kendall still give us some back talk. And Theta said something. And she said to Theta, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Honey, Theta was like, well, that's good because you won't be needing it anymore. And she took a laser and chopped off Jamie's head and said, um, conserve this vessel. It's the perfect breeding spot. So they brought out this big silver head, like a big silver ball with a little wire, and stuffed it down where her head was. So the body just juked back up, and then it was pregnant again. And that they had it all worked out, child, to where they said they just sped everything up. It's going to be a baby every hour on the hour, and they're going to repopulate the earth and basically do away with the rest of the humans. Now, all of this gets to going on. Mamie's having this conversation with Thor. She's like, wait a minute, we never agreed to this. What do you mean? They're like, well, the human race, you all are ridiculous. Like, you all have done nothing for the planet. You've done nothing to conserve the planet. Basically let her know we played you all this time. But there's some humans that will stay, like, you're not going to be killed. You'll be fine. But all the rest of the human race, there's no need for them. Everybody else that's here on the compound will be killed. They're done. All we need is the one vessel, and we're going to create all these babies, and we're going to replace the earth. Mamie got to tell him, well, what about the other group of aliens that are here? You think they're just going to let you do it? He's like, oh, we formed a treaty and alliance with them years ago, and we actually can live together. You all are the ones. You are the ones that don't belong. So we're just going to do away with you all. We're going to take care of the planet where you didn't. You had your chance, and you're all selfish, and you're just no good. That's that. So he went on about his business. That was that. So Mamie goes and sees Theta. She talks to Theta, basically tells her to plan because, Theta looks partially human. She's part human and she's part whatever else. She got like 3 nostrils and she's just a damn mess. And that one stupid big eye. But there's a portion of her that is human. Okay? So, she's like, and I believe that she actually is the other chemist from the other part, from Red Tide. I believe that is actually her, but whatever. There's a portion of Theta that is alien. There's a portion of Theta that is human. And so that was that. So they get this little plan going. Calico and Mamie, because Calico and Mamie made friends, okay? So they've been friends for years, ever since she got there in 72. Anyway, so she's like, you're the only one I could trust. She said, we're going to go in there, we'll appeal to Theta's human side. And, because they're going to kill her too. I don't know where she got that idea. But anyway, they get in there. Theta would be held, that didn't make sense because Theta would be held in high regard because she's worked all these years and she did the task that she was set out to do. They're not going to kill Theta. She saved their whole plant, their whole race. So that was just dumb. But anyway, they go in there. And she's like, so what we have to do is kill the baby and also kill the mother. Kill that breeding machine. So she's like, will you do the honors, Mamie? She said, Mamie over there. And then she froze her, double-crossed her, honey, and was like, girl, you thought that you could appeal to the human side of me? It's the side of me that I'm embarrassed about. It's the side of me that I can't stand. It's weak. And it's no good. She said, look at you. You all are selfish. You think about yourself. You've ruined this planet. You don't do anything but make things bad. That's what you do. So you have to go. And she told Calico, listen. And she's saying, Calico, help me, help me. Calico's sitting there like looking. She said, you've been very faithful all these years, Calico. So basically, they were going to let her live and make her the nanny of all the babies that they're creating. You'll be the one to give them, you'll do the maternal thing with all these babies and raise these babies. I said, oh. And like she said, there's going to be a birth every hour on the hour. And she says, are you in? She says, yes. So Calico turned on her, and she said, "Thank you for your service, and goodbye, Mrs. Eisenhower." Poof, honey, and blows her head up, honey. And that was it. That was the end of it. I said, this was a mess. A mess. It was, I was kind of falling into it like, okay, well, now we're getting somewhere. And then that was the ending. I said, you know what? Night night for y'all and this. So that's 2 seasons to the for me for American Horror Story. I never watched all of Roanoke. I only seen 1.5 episodes of Roanoke, and I just didn't have it to do. And this, mm, mm, I thought 1984 was going to be the one that I really just threw in the garbage, but I was able to. 1984 ended up like I was so nosy that I just couldn't help watching it, even though I hate the woods. But I watched 1984, and 1984 ended up being okay, and it held my interest. This was pure trash, pure trash. And I have to say, Red Tide wasn't as bad as Death Valley. Red Tide could have actually built into something else. But I don't ever want to see any more of this alien shit. I'm like done with it. Completely done. Anyway, I still love American Horror Story though, so nothing with that has changed. And listen, I'll see you all next season. Later.